everybody, this is B, and I am back with our life. So, we are going to continue. So, as we left off, we were getting shells with our friend Cove. So, this should be good. You were good at finding shells. You had a lot of them at home and always found new ones whenever you visited the beach. The comforting sound of the waves filled the silence with pleasant white noise, and you played a little game with yourself as you walked along, getting as close to the water as possible without getting wet. It resulted in you having to run up the sand quickly when a wave rushed in more than a few times, and although Cove threw a few glances your way, he didn't say a word. And you didn't either. What do you usually do on the beach? Lots of things. I like bodyboarding and volleyball and surfing and everything and stuff. The idea of standing on a big board while the waves propelled you towards the shore was mystifying. I'm not allowed to surf. It looks hard. Not once you get the hang of it. I could show you sometime. But I'm also not supposed to surf right now because I have this. He lifted up one arm, showing off the glaring pink cast wrapped around his wrist. Yeah, that's sad for him. Cove still smiled, though. You thought his nonchalant attitude towards the injury was pretty brave. I also like collecting stuff that's on the shore. Shells, sand dollars. I found a shark tooth once. You did? Cove stretched out his forefinger and thumb. It was this long. That was somehow both scary and delightful. No way. I mean it. I still have it under my bed. You'd have to remember to ask him to show it to you sometime.
So...
What about you? What do you do out here? I come to the beach a lot. I like swimming. I like looking at the fish. I like to build sandcastles. Nothing. Wow, that's boring. I do like swimming. I don't get to go to the beach often from where I live. And I like looking at fish. So I'm gonna go with the fish, because that's what I genuinely usually look for when I go to the beach. Like, I want to see the living creatures. They don't like me, so they always swim away if I get close. But they're pretty before that. Cool. Starfish are fun. They aren't going anywhere, even if you touch them. A small laugh escaped you. That's true. Once you reached the shopping area, the noise level grew exponentially. No longer just waves and footsteps, but the chatter of people enjoying the lovely summer day. The call of birds trying to find bits of food left behind, and a lot of salespeople trying to get attention. We're gonna save. You sniffed the air as you walked beside Cove. You could still smell the ocean, but there were other scents now too. Pizza, pretzels, hot donuts. It's alright, it's not very nice. It's nice. The energy surrounding the area seemed to fill you, and there was a bounce in your step as you began looking at all the familiar sights. There were so many things to do, you didn't know where to begin. You looked at Cove, hoping he was just as excited as you were. Cove was glancing from one side of the street to the other with a look in his aquamarine eyes that you couldn't quite work out. What's that? Cove pointed to a large crowd of people gathered near a few tables with large, colorful umbrellas blooming from their middles. You couldn't see past the adults who were blocking the way, but you knew there must be something worth seeing. Without another word, the two of you hurried over to see what all the commotion was about. Feast your eyes on the amazing Alexander. In the center of the crowd was a man with a tall hat and a funny green coat that had three long tails. There was a little table next to him with a cloth hanging over it that read, "The Amazing Alexander" in glittery golden script. Why tell people his name if it's already on a sign? Cove hummed with understanding, then turned to walk away just as the amazing Alexander began shuffling a deck of cards. Maybe we could stay and watch? Cove glanced back at the man. He then briefly lifted his arms up off his sides before returning them to place. So he shrugged at me. You grinned, waving for him to follow you as you raced back to the stand in the crowd. With that, it began. The magic man pulled one card out of the deck, showing it to the curious onlookers. It was a 4 of diamond. Watch closely. You did, squeezing through a few of the adult onlookers to get a better view. Suddenly, the man snapped his fingers and the card just disappeared. Whoa! The amazing Alexander, who had earned his title, turned his head and looked directly at you. He reached out with a kind smile. What's this behind your ear? Nothing. You backed away. Tell me. This had to be going somewhere, and you needed to find out. He smelled like popcorn and candy when he stepped closer. It was great. You felt a tug, and then he pulled the 4 of diamonds out from behind your ear. What? You knew that couldn't really have come from your ear, but you still didn't get how he'd done it. There was a light applause from the crowd, and the man gave a deep bow. This is for you. The magician plucked a pair of balloons from a clump of them tied down to his table. Both were in the shape of a dolphin instead of being a normal circle. And one for your friend, too. Thank you for being my assistant. Wow. Now you were really grateful he chose you. After that, he went to someone else in the crowd. Pick a card, any card. My uncle does that every time he visits. Not the balloons, the stuff with the cards. Cove spoke plainly while reaching over to take the dolphin that had been designated for him. Cove is ruining the fun. At least you had a fun time. You wondered Cove's whole family was magic. We're gonna do that. If so, he was lucky. The crowd started to clear some, and you noticed to the side there was a whole rack of brightly colored kaleidoscopes on display. We're gonna pick up the kaleidoscope. It didn't even mention the other toys that were over there. Ooh, these are cool. You shifted your balloon string to your other hand so you could bring the mysterious tunnel to your eye. A whole palette of colors appeared right in front of you, spinning into all kinds of different shapes as you twisted in the tube. Cove picked one up and looked through, twisting the tube at the end. After a second, he set it back on the rack, moving to the other side of the stall. He went under the awning, careful of his own floating dolphin, and you joined him. Are you having fun? Yeah. You returned a smile, happy to hear it. When Cove moved towards some stalls nearby, you followed beside him. Ooh, cute. While Cove looked at sand pails, you were drawn to a table with colorful keychains laid out. They were sewn in the shape of sea creatures. This is going to be a decision choice, I feel like. They were sewn in the shape of sea creatures, and there was a plaque that read handmade standing proudly in front of them. There were lots of different types. You saw a dolphin, a shark, a crab, and a turtle. I really like the shark and the dolphin. We're gonna go with the shark. Your hand stopped on the shark, a devious smirk filled with sharp teeth on its face. You weren't supposed to go near sharks in real life, but there was something about this shark you liked, and the fabric on its back was soft when you picked it up. You were instantly enamored. Checking the price though, you felt your heart fell. $6? You didn't know much about money, but you thought that was a lot to spend on one thing. You rarely had more than a $5 bill to your name. Is that what you want? Huh? Oh. It's $6. I didn't bring any money. Alright. It's fine. I don't want you to get it for me. You don't have to. Really? Really? You don't have to. Cove didn't mind that. He took the keychain from your hands, and that was that. He was holding a small yellow bucket for him, too. It's cool. You should get it. He smiled, pleased to have things work out. was nice of Cove's dad to let Cove buy something for you too. You had to remember to thank him next time you saw him. After Cove paid, the two of you stepped out of the store, side by side, your balloon dolphins knocking together and sprawling around in the air. You watched Cove hold up his new pail to his face, examining it thoroughly. Hey, Cove? Yeah? Your dad gets out money a lot, huh? I really like this keychain. I'm gonna compliment this. Thank you. Cove looked over and you held it up so you could see better. I like it too. Cove looked further down the street where different food carts were lined up. I wasn't gonna ask about the money because that's really none of my business. And he's being nice to me, so. He rested his non-cast arm over his stomach, and just as he did, yours let out a light growl. You hadn't eaten since breakfast, and after all this wandering around, you were definitely ready for some lunch. Let's get some food. Yeah. You two wandered around a short while, looking at all the delicacies that were available. Everything looked delicious, and as the different smells, both sweet and salty, wafted over to you, your stomach growled even louder. After passing up hot dogs, snow cones, ice cream, and pizza, you both agreed on pretzels. Cove got something sweet and cinnamon, and you got... Oh god. I've never had a pretzel with cheese. I don't think I've ever actually had a pretzel. Like one of the soft pretzels. What did he have? Oh my god, I don't even remember what he had. Did he get a salty pretzel? Got with cheese. You licked your lips hungrily at the vendor, handed your pretzel over, ready to take a big bite. It was covered in gooey melted cheese, just the way you liked it. It seemed odd to get a dessert pretzel before eating normal food. You found an empty table close enough to the beach that the grit of the sand made terrible noises when you dragged the chairs out to sit down. These balloons are going to make it hard to eat. He placed his bucket on the table as he stared at his still balled up pan that was wrapped around the string. You opened your mouth to agree before an idea hit you. I know. After carefully placing your pretzel somewhere it wouldn't get sandy, you tugged the balloon dolphin out of Cove's hand and tied a delicate bow around his wrist. Oh. Cove bounced his arm up and down in place, testing the stability of your knot. After watching his balloon jostle around but remain attached, he smiled, satisfied. Can you do it for me? He repeated the ritual. Cove struggled somewhat with the cast restricting his fingers on one hand and the string already tangled around the other. But the action made you feel strangely happy. You couldn't look him in the eyes.
Okay.
Got it. The two of you spent a moment admiring your handiwork, both hands now free to allow easy munching on your pretzels. You bit into the doughy treat, savoring the taste on your tongue with a smile as you looked out over the ocean. After a time, you finished your pretzel. You were done before Cove. It is boring not having anything to do. You pulled on the string of your balloon to bring it down to your level. Then you held the dolphin in your hands, manipulating it to make it look like it was jumping through the air. If you turned to face towards the beach, it almost looked like it was swimming in the waves, like a real dolphin. A laugh came from your side. When you glanced back at Cove, he had left the remaining part of his pretzel on the wrapper, and he was gripping his dolphin too. Mine's name is Merryweather, he's the Prince of Dolphins. My name is Splash, they star in movies. My name is Cherry. Ooh. Okay, so I like Merryweather, but I also like Cherry because she's actually an alien. I'm gonna go with mine's Cherry. She's actually an alien. When no one is looking, she transformed back into her true alien self. She has purple skin and 10 eyes. You sighed, wishing you could meet a real-life alien. What's yours? Cove considered this question, placing the balloon against the table and resting his free arm across it in contemplation. It's... Oh no! With a loud pop, the dolphin exploded into ribbons. Aw. Oh no. For a second, all Cove did was gape in shock like you. Then his cheeks puffed up, squinting his eyes, and you saw tears start to glisten. You made a joke, you offered to find Alexander, you offered to give Cove your balloon. Let's give him our balloon. Don't cry. You quickly pulled the knot around your wrists loose and passed your balloon over to Cove. It wasn't the same color, but you hoped Cove would accept it anyway. Here, you can have this one. Cove sniffled, a lone tear running down his cheek. No, I don't want to take yours from you. Then we're sharing. It's your turn to hold it. Really? Yeah, it's okay. Cove accepted the balloon delicately, probably to make sure this one didn't pop like the other one. Thanks, B. Seeing him like that felt much better than keeping the dolphin for yourself. The passing of Cove's balloon was the last major event of your adventure. In the end, the two of you headed back late that afternoon. You separated on the beach, and while Cove went straight home with his brand new sand pail in hand, you decided to sit for a while. You watched the waves and the sunset, fiddling with your new keychain. Another summer day was drawing to a close. It had been great going around with Cove. You hoped to do it again, but next time you wished nothing would happen to make him cry. Okay, so we've done... Oh god. Okay, so you only get to do so many? That's interesting. Okay, we're on grown up. One sweltering summer day, you were in your living room with Cove, listening to the sound of the birds chattering outside the window while you laid across the rug on the floor. Cove's dad had dropped him off earlier, and your mom had let the two of you, along with Lizzie, to play amongst yourselves. It had been too hot to go outside in the afternoon, at least according to Mommy, so your sister was starting to get impatient, waiting for her golf class that evening. The three of you had trouble finding something fun to do. The beach and the playground were off limits, and you felt that it was too warm for anything like playing with your fuzzy toy animals. Then suddenly a light came to Lizzie's big brown eyes, and her smile spread across her face. Having an idea gave her a new wave of energy. Since we're stuck inside, we should be adults. They don't play outdoors anyways. They're always inside and telling everybody they're too busy to play.
Why?
Why?
Duh.
I said why, and it'll be fun, duh. What do they do inside that we don't, besides use a phone a lot? Excluding a small huff, Lizzie decides to ignore Cove.
What do you think?
B, what do you think? Do you want to? I don't know. Can I save? Because this feels like I'm gonna make a bad choice. You know what? I want to. You do? Seriously? Yeah. Hooray! Okay, let me think. What do I want to be? Satisfied that neither of you were about to bail on her, Lizzie thought over her options while you watched. After a few seconds, she clapped her hands together and beamed, apparently having settled on something without asking either of you. Okay, I'm gonna be a professional golfer. B, you and Cove can be a beach volleyball player, a gymnast, or a tennis player. Why can't we pick anything we want? Because I have a fun idea, that's why. And we have to play sports as adults? Yep. But there's other kinds of sports too.
Right?
It isn't the same. What do you think, B? Don't those choices sound super cool? You want to be that, huh? Isn't there anything else we can be? Lizzie stomped on a foot on the ground. Nope, come on, just decide already. Knowing Lizzie wouldn't let this go anytime soon, you sighed. Cove was not impressed with Lizzie's attitude, though he didn't bother talking more about it for now. He thought over the list of possibilities: beach volleyball, gymnastics, or tennis. And of all of them, you'd prefer to play beach volleyball. If you can't spend the afternoon at the beach for real, then you might as well pretend you were there. You could even wear your swimsuit to make it seem more realistic, although Lizzie probably wouldn't let you run off and do that now that she had you here. Yeah, that was clearly the top option. Okay, I'm gonna be a volleyball player.
Alright.
Alright. How about you, Cove? I'll be a volleyball player with B. Lizzie threw her hands in the air, making an annoyed sound. You guys can't be the same thing. That's not how it works. You didn't say that. The rule was picking from the list. You can't keep adding more. Lizzie looked at the two of you, then shook her head, resigned to losing this battle, but not the war. Fine, you're both volleyball players, but you're on the same team because there's only one. Lizzie's ponytail balled when she proudly stretched her arms wide. The Olympic team. What? We're the Olympic athletes who just competed in the Olympics. Cove didn't seem all that impressed with the announcement. He made a face and adjusted the glasses on his nose. That's real specific. That makes it fun. Anyways, Lizzie marched back and forth in front of the both of you, getting lost in her own imagination. I won all the gold medals, and people are calling me the next Mickey Wright. Who's that? Lizzie stopped on the spot and turned on him, her brown eyes shining with impatience. It doesn't matter if you know who she is. It's a golf thing. You guys won medals too. Your team placed at silver. It's more real if we're not all first place. Silver sucks. I don't want silver. I'm okay with that. You shrugged your shoulders, agreeing with Lizzie. A silver medal was still really good in the Olympics. I'm not. Cole folded his arms across his chest, apparently not as happy as you were with the decision.
Sorry.
Lots of people lose at the Olympics. Them's the breaks. Then you're not the one who did it. Who did, not me. Oh, you're the one that did, not me. Lizzie looked taken back by Cove's declaration, as though the thought of her losing was completely absurd. No way. It wouldn't make sense. I'm already practicing my golf game. She took a golfing stance to make her point, pretending to swing her club and hit an invisible ball. So what kind of a house do you want to live in? Cove hadn't changed his mind about winning, but thinking about where he'd live as an adult appealed to him, apparently because he looked back at Lizzie with some of the anger fading. I'm going to live on the beach. Lizzie made a face at him, poking out her tongue. That's kind of boring. We already have that. No, not like the normal house here with a street on it, right on the sand, by the water. Just like that, all the tension was back. You hadn't even had a chance to choose where you want to live. That's not very fun or smart, Cove. You can't live on a beach of sand and shells. But I want to, and I will. Cove narrowed his eyes at Lizzie, even though she stood half a head taller than him. You didn't give out a list of things to pick from this time, so I'm picking that. Why are we even playing pretend if we can't imagine anything? Jeez. Well, I'm gonna live in a mansion far away from here, and far away from you. One with an indoor pool and a place to practice my award-winning golfing.
It's not fair.
how come you were yelling about mine when your idea is even more impossible? Lizzie's face flushed red, her hands balling into a fist at her sides. It's not impossible, and it's better than yours. Ooh. Disagreements always seemed to coop up with the two of them when the two of them were together, and you always felt like you were stuck in the middle. But when it came to the topic at hand, this time you thought, we're gonna go with the beach. Being on the beach was cooler. Who wouldn't want to live on the beach? It'd be really great. You could have windows made from driftwood and chill wind chimes. Ugh. Somehow you agreeing with him made Cove look nervous. He tried to ignore it by continuing his debate with Lizzie. You can swim whenever you want if you live on the beach. We can still swim anytime we want from where we live now. Being a little closer doesn't mean anything. Says you. The two of them scowled at each other. You're being so unreasonable. I don't get what you want. This game doesn't make sense. It does. You have to be realistic. I said that. But you're not. You had no idea what to do to make them stop at this point. It seemed like the two of them would just keep working each other up as long as they could. Nothing you'd said so far had kept them from being mad. Thankfully, like a greeting card, a greeting card angel, Mom walked into the room. Lizzie rushed to her, hanging on to the hem of her shirt and poking out her tongue at Cove. Lizzie, B, it's time to get ready to go. Sorry, you have to leave already, Cove. Their mommy said she'll walk you home so you won't be left in the cold. Cove was still glaring at Lizzie, his face flushed red with anger. I can go by myself. But bye, B. There was still a harsh edge to the brief farewell, but you knew it wasn't you he was mad at. Without giving Mom a chance to stop him, Cove stood up and stalked out the room, shoulders drawn tight. Okay. Worried, Mom turned to look down at you and Lizzie. You two were playing nice with your new friend, weren't you? We were playing pretend and things got intense. They were like cats and dogs. Your sister's jaw dropped, looking betrayed as Mom put both hands on her hips. Elizabeth, I told you to be kind to him. He's having a hard time right now. Lizzie's mouth closed back up, replaced by a tiny frown. I know, I tried, but he was...
That's enough.
No buts. We both know you can show someone a great time when you put your mind to it. We're going to apologize to Cove and his dad over the phone when he gets home from work tonight. Lizzie hung her head, dragging a foot across the ground in front of her. Okay, Mom. Good girl. You caught pieces of Lizzie sulking to herself about how it was his fault too, but it was over. Alright, we're getting a move on.
Let's go.
Let's go, kids. Nolani, where did you leave the car keys? Mom hustled you all out the door, and you noticed during the car ride to the golf practice, Lizzie was quieter than usual. She was usually the first one to request which music to listen to in the car, but she didn't say a thing. Your parents know she was in a mood to be bothered. They gave her space, and Mommy just asked you what you'd like to listen to. You picked your favorite song, always made the car ride more fun. We're gonna choose a song you knew Lizzie liked. Maybe that could cheer her up. You were happy to see it brightened her up right away, and she started singing along with you. Soon enough, her bad mood was a thing in the past. When the car ride was over, you spent the twilight hour watching Lizzie hit things with other girls her age. You didn't know much about golf, but you could tell that she really liked it, so you sat with your moms and tried to puzzle it out. It was nice sitting outside after being cooped up in the house all day. You stretched your legs to let the last few minutes of sun warm your skin. When the sun was finally out of sight, dipping behind the horizon, you all got ready to leave. Instead of going straight home, your moms took you to took the family out to dinner. You went to a restaurant you had all been going to ever since you could remember. The whole afternoon had been a bunch of shouting. You had been able to stop, but you could kind of tell that all this helped Lizzie be less angry. Well, happy for you, Lizzie. Cove is mad, but happy for you. Anyways, we're going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!